Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us, especially those that have been waiting in the lobby for 5 minutes or so. Appreciate all of you giving up your Monday evenings. As you know, myself and Aaron will be taking us through the presentation. If nobody objects, we are recording. That's just so because there's a few people that can't make it. And we will share the recording with you all tomorrow, so you should be able to have that. And if you really feel the need to listen back to it, you can. Your cameras should automatically be turned off, as are your mics. That is just to help with the bandwidth, the Wi-Fi strength, because we are doing a presentation, so we just want to try and make it as good as it can be. So hopefully you won't mind that. Myself and Aaron are sat next to each other, so if you hear some beeping, it's because he's still letting people into the lobby his end. We are using Teams, which we should be used to by now. We've never used this particular format of it, so hopefully it all goes smoothly and everybody can see and hear everything. If you've got any questions as we go along, there will be breaks for us to answer questions. It'd be really appreciative if you could just pop them into the chat function. If you're on a laptop, that will appear at the top of your laptop. There's a speech bubble type thing. If you press on that and then you can type your question in, we'll monitor that throughout and try and answer that those questions at sort of set intervals. So if you're on a laptop, or if you're on an iPad or a tablet or anything else, it might be somewhere different, but apologies, I can't answer exactly where that will be. So in terms of the agenda for this evening, that is what we're going to be running through for this evening. So we'll look at what is the England Football Accreditation, how does it differ to Charter Standard, the eligibility criteria, player pathway details, the transition from Charter Standard to England Football Accreditation, what support we'll offer, and the portal, the club portal that you will have access to. What we're not going to be covering tonight is the rewards system. What we'll say about the rewards is, as far as we know, the information we've got is they will remain the same as what they currently are under the old Charter Standard. So that's an agreement between Nike and the FA. We haven't been told that there's any major changes coming on that, so we can't really answer too much further on that one. And then we can't also answer individual questions concerning clubs and their star rating. We've got over 60 clubs signed up tonight, which is excellent. But obviously, if we start to answer those on each individual club, we could end up being here all night. So if you've got any individual questions about your club, obviously you can email myself or Aaron, and we'll answer them as soon as we can.
Just one question. Is everybody hearing? I've just had somebody comment to say, is there no audio? Can people just put a thumbs up just to make sure we're not really quiet here? Is everybody hearing us okay? Brilliant. That's great.
That's good. Good start. So we'll do our best to get this all done by 8 p.m. Obviously, we don't know how many questions there is going to be, but we'll do our best to get through the presentation, give you plenty of time for questions. If we need to go beyond 8, obviously we can. If people need to jump off the call at any time, feel free. There is going to be recorded, so not a problem at all. So we'll move on. We're now going to play a short video for you from the FA. Hopefully it does come with sound. We have played with it a few times to try and get it working, so hopefully you will be able to hear it your end as well. So it's just I think it's about 1.5 minutes long. So.
Whatever role you play, whatever level you reach, whether you take the lead, the responsibility, the training, the corners, the kids to the game, or the nets down at the end, the game remains the same. It's the standards you set that make the difference. Accredited leagues and clubs lead by example, raise the bar, and fly the flag of respect and diversity for football in England. From the first time to the first team, from the boardroom to the changing room, from early morning pickups to last-minute winners. Greatness isn't just earned by action on the pitch, but by the work, standards and spirit of it. Built to last, made by you. When you're accredited, you're not just part of it, you're the beating heart of it.
Okay, just still getting a couple of messages just coming through that some people can't hear us, which is a bit strange because when we asked for thumbs up, a lot of people said yes, but now a lot of other people are saying in the messages that they can't hear anything. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can just change something on my laptop. Okay, hopefully people can still hear us. Obviously, we don't know if each individual laptop you're on is working, but certainly at our end it looks like it's working. People are giving us thumbs up, so we'll carry on. So why the England Football Accreditation exists and the vision for the FA League and club strategy. Essentially, the old charter standard framework has been outgrown by clubs. It's been very successful. It's been around over 10 years now. And a new model is required. So an example of that is that the old community charter standard status only required 10 teams, and there are clubs in the country that have actually got over 100. So as good as it was, it set targets for clubs to try and reach in terms of offering football provision in the grassroots community. It's essentially now outgrown that. So this is why the England Football Accreditation mark has come about. In Somerset, the current picture is that we have, with youth clubs, we have 91% of our youth clubs are accredited. So that's 1,183 accredited clubs versus 110 non-accredited. So our target is to get to 100%. That will always be our target and our aim. And at 91, we're above the national average at the moment. These stats are as of June 2021, so they're a touch out of date, but still fairly accurate. For adult provision, we have got 69% accredited teams, 31% non-accredited. So that's from a total of 1,644. And again, those figures are from June 2021. We're above our own target of 52% and the national average, which is a good start. In terms of how the Charter Standard and the England Football Accreditation differ, the old Charter Standard structure is more hierarchical, with the community clubs at the top, give an impression of a better club, and the old focus was on team numbers and coaching qualifications. The new structure is very even, with stars now indicating the pathways available rather than the quality of the clubs. So the figures shown here are the national figures. So there is quite small, but hopefully you can see it. So at the moment, there's 4,918 one-star accredited, 2,372 star accredited, and 714 three-star accredited, and there's 400 accredited leagues. So that gives us our chance to answer any questions. I think Aaron's just monitoring now. We haven't got many other than just around the sound. So just remember, if you do want to ask any questions as we're moving along, please just pop them into the chat function and we'll try and address them as we get there. So I'm going to pass you over to Aaron now. He's going to take on the next bit.
Evening, everyone. I hope you're all well on this cold Monday night. So we'll move into more of the kind of nitty gritty, I suppose, of it now, really. Just bear with me while I admit some latecomers into the meeting. So as Rob's kind of alluded to already, what the England accreditation is looking at now is kind of an even playing field. So essentially, regardless of what star you are, you don't need to have the relevant sort of level 2 coaches per X amount of teams as you would have done on the old sort of charter standard hierarchical part that Rob has already touched on. So essentially, you could have all level 1s within your club and still be a 3-star. It basically now goes on what you offer in terms of the player pathway. And the player pathway is within the male, the female, and the disability, which I will come on to in a minute. So essentially, wherever you sit across that 1, 2, or 3 stars, it doesn't take away from the quality or experience that you provide for your players, your spectators, your volunteers, on and off the pitch. And you'll see references to sort of on and off the pitch as we go along as well. Excuse me. So in terms of eligibility, nothing really has changed there. So obviously, pretty much everyone on this call will be able to become, if you're not already, be able to become England Football Accredited. So it's National League steps 1 to 6, step 7 feeder leagues, the women's pyramid tiers 3 and below, and obviously grassroots football leagues and clubs. All leagues, all accredited leagues are obviously then realigned and recognised as England Football Accredited League. So those of you that are existing charter standard clubs have been automatically realigned to your relevant star based on the pathway that you currently offer, and we'll come on to a little bit more of sort of future seasons as the slides go on anyway. So nothing's really changed in terms of the eligibility. Those of you that are already charter standards, you probably know already you don't need to do anything at this moment in time. So the real nitty-gritty in terms of where clubs sit in terms of the new accreditation pathway. As I say, it goes along a pathway of male, female and disability. As Rob mentioned on one of the first slides, we can't really sit here and sort of answer questions on, you know, one club, okay, I've this, I've that. It's probably not the right time to be doing this now. However, we can pick those up on a one-to-one basis, which will probably be more benefit to you and us, really. So going forward, if I don't explain it very well, or you're not clear where you sit, or you don't already know if it's not on your current portal that you might have seen today, drop us a line, telephone, email, and we can go through it. But yeah, it's probably, as I say, unfortunately just not the right time or place to sort of sit and talk about some individual ones with I think we've got nearly 40 or 50 people on the call as well. So yeah, it's not us being rude, it's probably just not, as I say, the best place. So we'll move on. So 1 star essentially is relatively straightforward. You can have 1 team, 1 male, 1 female, 1 disability. You can become England Football Accredited as a 1-star club. So your standalone Sunday League team is eligible. 1 team, you've got 1 adult male team, for example, plays in the Bridgewater Sunday League, an old thing that people don't seem to be aware of. You know, 1 club, you can become England Football Accredited. You don't have to have X amount of teams or anything like that. So yeah, so those of you that are sort of 1 team clubs as such, you will be automatically realigned to a 1-star England Football Accredited. So nice and straightforward. This is where it becomes a little bit more confusing, and probably more confusing for me to try and explain it in more simple terms. So 2-star, I'll start on the left. To be 2-star, you must offer a complete accredited player pathway for either male or female or disability, and all playing within obviously FA sanctioned leagues. In addition, offering a minimum of 1 team at any age group from an alternative pathway. So as I say, it sits on the pathway. So we look at the top example. So far left is obviously this is a male team. What you would have to be 2-star, within those 11 age groups, you would essentially need to have 8 of those. So 8 out of those 11 plus under 21s or open age, plus then female and or disability. But what's important to say here, if, for example, you're a youth club, you don't actually, in theory, need to have open age or under 21s. You can link in with another club, a local club, for example, that might have a female team or disability or adult male open age under 21. You can actually link up with that club, form a partnership and become a 2-star accredited club together, essentially. If we go on to the bottom diagram, that obviously shows the female pathway. So again, out of those 7 age groups that you see from under 10s to under 16s, you would need to have 4 of those age groups plus male and or disability, plus either under 10s or under 16s, so the start or the end of the pathway. So again, if you're an all-female club, you've got your youth teams from under 10s to under 16s, for example, you can link in with a local adult male, for example, or a disability team, link yourselves up and actually become a 2-star accredited club. I'm hoping I've explained that better than I ever have done in any test kind of explanation. So hopefully that's clear. As I say, if you're not sure where you sit, if you don't already know, if it's not on your club portal when you log in, let us know outside of the call, either a phone call or email, and we can go through it with you. on that one, and I'll come on to a local example in a minute. So again, the other pathway that we haven't covered is the disability pathway. So if you're a disability club predominantly, and you offer one team in at least 4 of those age groups, one team at least 2 of those age groups, so under 8s, under 12s, under 16s, or open age. So disability football goes in 4-year age bandings. Plus you also have either female specific disability or an adult male team, adult female. You can become obviously a 2-star accredited. So you need to offer at least one in at least 2 of those age groups from under 8s, under 12s, under 16s and open age. So hopefully that's clear. As I say, if it's not, we can pick those conversations up after if need be. But just to give you a really simple local example, Abishay's youth. So they are aligned as a 2-star club. They have youth provision. They have 8 youth teams from under 7s to under 16s. They also have their link with their local adult teams, Coombe St Nicholas, who have got 4 male teams and 1 female teams. So they are aligned as a 2-star. Now, from their example, if they were to create a disability section plus grow their female provision, there's every chance they could become a 3-star. So we just wanted to give you sort of, rather than just sort of generically say the criteria, give you a local example of how it works. As I say, it can be quite confusing. I've sat many times trying to get my head around how to explain it, but hopefully that helps and that explains it. We will move on to the 3-star, which I think should be a little bit more simpler to grasp. So obviously, to be a 3-star accredited club, you must offer the complete accredited player pathway for both male and female, whilst offering a minimum of 1 disability team at any age group. So essentially all the male, all the female pathways across those, minimum of 8 across the 11 adult male, and then 4 of those 7 age groups for female plus disability. So it's the full player pathway, male and female, and a disability. So again, as we said, it doesn't go along the number of level 2 coaches you have in your club, for example, like it would have done with the development or community old charter standard status. As I say, you can essentially have level 1 coaches across your whole club, but the pathway you offer is bigger or smaller, and obviously from that will depend on the level of stars. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Are there any questions? I'll monitor the chat. There's one already from Mike. Is the portal on Holgame? Yes, so it's your club portal. So we'll come on to a little bit of that later on, but essentially when you log into your portal, from today, we believe, November the 1st, clubs should start seeing their accreditation status and the level of star that they're at on there when you log in. We were told that everything kind of goes live on the portal the 1st of November. What we don't have at the moment is any knowledge of what it looks like your end, if that makes sense, because it's the first day. So we're hopefully sitting down with a few clubs the next week or so that are looking to become England accredited, so we can start to look at how it looks from your end, if that makes sense. Some other questions. Gary, is a disability team training only? What funding is available? I'm not sure what you mean as a disability team training. So
I think
only.
If they're not in a league, are they just a team?
Okay, yeah. So it's playing in FA sanctioned league, as the others say. So they'd have to be playing within FA sanctioned leagues. In terms of funding, that's probably a question we can pick up outside of this. I don't know if you know, Gary, Nick is our disability officer, so that might be something to pick up with him outside of this call, if that's okay. Vicky, I can confirm that I can see our accreditation status. That's brilliant. So Western Mendip girls, thanks Vicky. When they've logged into their club portal, they can see their accreditation status. So if you haven't been in already, you want to go in on a Monday night, feel free and have a look. If not, when you're next in, hopefully it would have all gone live and you'll see the relevant star that you're aligned to. And again, as I say, if you've got any questions, drop me and or Rob an email or a phone call. Can't see any more questions coming in at the moment, but again, if you think of any as we go through that, I appreciate this is probably the bulk of the bits that you need to know, really. So pop them in there, and we can hopefully answer them as we go along. I'll pass you back to Rob.
Thank you. Yeah, if you do think of any questions afterwards, I'll put my email address on there, so feel free to drop me an email and we can pick that up either tonight or tomorrow, whenever you send it in. So in terms of the transition from FA Charter Standard to the England Football Accreditation, there's obviously a recognition that the last 2 seasons have been extremely tough for everyone involved in grassroots football. Clubs haven't necessarily been able to expand and grow as they planned in early 2020. I'm sure that lots of you had lots of ideas around that time of what you were going to do over the next few seasons, and things have really been thrown up in the air for obvious reasons. So this is why clubs are being recognised for how many teams they have up to the end of the 23-24 season. So that's another 3 seasons. So we'll touch on that a little bit later on as to what exactly that means. The Somerset FA and the FA will work with clubs to develop over the next 3 seasons, and provided clubs hit all other criteria, their accreditation level will remain. So existing charter standard leagues and clubs are automatically transitioned over to the England Football Accreditation, so they're not required to do anything, which Aaron's already mentioned. Most of the criteria will already be achieved by clubs and leagues, and anything further required due to changes we will support you with by the time of your first validation, which will be November 2022. So again, we'll come on to what the portal looks like and how that's going to work in a second, and that hopefully will become a bit clearer then. So in terms of in Somerset, we currently have 137 1-star clubs, along with 86 2-star clubs and 33 3-star clubs, and we've got 10 accredited leagues. So clubs that are within 2 teams of meeting the 2-star accredited player pathways will be recognised as a 2-star accredited club. So that's where we're going back to what I said about the 23-24 season. You will basically have until the end of that season to get those teams in place. So if you're just 2 teams short, you'll automatically get uplifted to that 2-star accredited player pathway. And with 3 stars, that's the same again. So if you're 3 teams short of meeting the 3-star accredited player pathway, you'll be uplifted again. And you'll have until the end of the 23-24 season to meet that criteria. Now, most of those teams that are missing, this is nationally, are female teams and disability teams. So again, we have development officers in place who will support you if you're just a couple of teams short of meeting the 2-star player pathway. We've got development officers who will support you to make sure that we can get that all in place by the end of the 23-24 season, if that's what you wish to do. So in terms of the timescale, a lot of this is now passed. So we're actually now at the equip and empower phase. So that actually kicked off today, so November the 1st. So there's very little for leagues and clubs to do as it stands at the moment. All clubs and leagues should have received some information through from the FA regarding the England Football Accreditation. You should have received that as emails and possibly a hard copy as well. We did request a hard copy ourselves, but we haven't received it yet, so hopefully we'll get that soon. But that's the stage we're at the moment. So we've been through the excite and inspire, we've been through the educate, and now we're at the equip and empower stage.
Okay, so again, now we'll move on to the criteria as it stands for leagues and clubs to retain their accreditation, but also as well those that are looking to become England Football accredited clubs and leagues, and what you actually need to do it. So those of you familiar with the criteria as it was for Charter Standard, not much really has changed on that. So we'll start with the league side of it. Top left, really, through the league sanctioning leagues will offer a minimum of 1 division at any age group, male, female or disability. So again, 3 separate pathways. Have in-date FA enhanced disclosure and barring services to DBS checks for all relevant levels within that. All the youth chairs, secretaries, treasurers, welfare officers, etc. to complete the safeguarding committee members course. Welfare officer mandated for youth football, male, female and disability, as also now a recommendation for adult football, obviously with the focus going on around under 18s playing in adult football. So that's the only minor change where that's a recommendation really. In terms of the middle section, So where it's saying evidence and adopting, so whereas in the past, those of you that were probably familiar, you would have had either your own, let's say, safeguarding or quality policies, or you would have adopted the FA one. So we might have sent them across to you in an email. What you can now do is go through the portal and actually adopt them that way. So it's all done electronically that way. So you download them, and by downloading them, you essentially adopt them. So the middle section around the safeguarding policies, the equality policies, the Football Leadership Diversity Code, the National Respects Code of Conduct, they're all documents that you don't obviously work-wise have to do anything with at the start. It's just something obviously just to be familiar with and adopt as a league, really, which again hasn't really changed from sort of previous criteria. The bottom one in the middle, have a bank account in the league's name and provide evidence of last season's accounts if in existence for more than one season. So again, nothing's really changed there. Move to the top right, at least 60% of teams are England Football Accredited clubs. So if you're an aspiring league looking to become England Football Accredited, the minimum you need to be able to do that is 60% of your teams already England Football Accredited. And then after that, after 3 years, leagues must have a minimum of 85. So obviously within that time, you would have grown the number of teams within your league that are England Football Accredited. And then the last few, have a good disciplinary record within the National Respect Disciplinary Code. So yeah, we always obviously look at what were the charter standard leagues as, you know, in high esteem in terms of the discipline and the sort of behaviours on and off the pitch really as well. So nothing's really changed there. And then the last one, which you all do anyway, is operating within a set of league rules, constitution leagues. So yeah, nothing's really changed on that. Those of you that obviously are already what was charter standard leagues will already be transitioned over to become England Football Accredited leagues, as I say. So there's nothing you need to do. We just thought it's probably important to know what the criteria is going forward, and certainly if there are any leagues on the call that are looking to become England Football Accredited, hopefully that's given you a little idea there. There's just a couple bits more as well in terms of the off the pitch criteria, and completing an England Football League annual development plan. Now, I probably sat down with many leagues and clubs and gone through development plans. I think it's always key here to say they can kind of really be as big or as small as you want them to be, really, and this kind of goes for clubs as well. What you don't really want to be doing is having pages and pages of, you know, of a development plan and actually not achieving it. You know, even if you've got 3 or 4 things you might want to focus on in terms of development or delivery, actually it's better to work with that and, you know, and achieve that. So yeah, certainly don't be phased when it says sort of annual football development plans, and obviously, as Rob's alluded to already, we're there to support with that if need be. What it also asks is obviously, I think most of the leagues that are existing, what were charter standard doers anyway, is to have an accreditation and respect in as your agenda items in your league meetings. So touch on any points for that. It might even be updates that we could give you, for example, and things like that, but just making sure that, you know, you do cover these when it comes to any league meetings. Third one down is having an active link to another league to support transitions of players. So one of the things we tried to help with what was charter standard leagues, if it was an adult league, for example, is trying to link in with a local youth league. You'd be surprised how many don't have a link with them. And obviously, importantly, at under 16 level, for example, players can drop off. So it's really sort of crucial and important to help those players transition into adult football, and having a sort of adult and youth league link is really beneficial. And again, if that's not something you've got and you need help with, and obviously as a county FA or staff, Rob and myself, we can do that as well. Or within that, you can provide a competition for a male, female or disability accredited player pathway. And then the last one on that is encouraging member clubs to become an England Football Accredited club within 1 season of joining. So some of the leagues I've worked with, some have given them 6 months, some have given them a year. It is relatively straightforward from an adult perspective, which we'll come on to later on. But yeah, nothing really has changed on that. It seems a lot of wording, but most of you do all that or have done all that already. So, you know, certainly don't be phased by that. If there are any leagues on here that are looking to become England Football Accredited, we can support you along the way, as I say. OK, so moving on to the criteria for clubs. Again, not a great deal has changed. So we'll start at the top left. So through affiliation, clubs will achieve the following: So offer a minimum of 1 team at any age group for male, female or disability, and answering Gary's question earlier on, playing in an FA sanctioned competition. So they'd have to be playing within a league type competition. Have their in-date FA enhanced disclosure and bias of DBSs for all relevant officials. Welfare officer for youth clubs, male, female and disability. Safeguarding committee members course completed by the club committee members. Again, nothing really new there. The middle part is similar to the middle part with the leagues. Evidence of adopting club rules and club safeguarding policies and equality policies, leadership diversity codes, respect codes of conduct. So all those in the middle tier there are all those documents that will be within your document portal that you can download and obviously then automatically adopt. Lots of clubs put them up at their clubhouses, they put them up you know, around the grounds and stuff like that. But obviously just make sure that you adhere to what's within that. And then the last section, have a bank account in the club's name. That's recommended for all clubs, but it's now mandatory for clubs with 3 or more teams. Providing evidence of last season's accounts if in existence for more than 1 season. That's obviously if it's requested. And have a good disciplinary record. Again, we look at what were charter standard, now the England Football Accredited teams in high esteem in terms of the way they act on and off the pitch. And this is all about raising standards, whether that's a league or a club, players, spectators, volunteers, etc. So hopefully that explains that. No questions at the moment I can see. Yeah, and then in terms of the on and off pitch criteria for clubs, adult teams should have a named individual that's got their, what they call the introduction to first aid and football, obviously the emergency aid as it was known before. If this is a player, an additional person is required on that one now. Youth teams to have at least 1 coach or manager with the introduction to coaching football, which was the level 1 as it was known, and their in-date first aid and safeguarding. So again, nothing's changed there really. A qualified coach or manager must be present at training and fixtures. The coach-player ratio of 1:16, again, that's not changed. And in terms of off the pitch, the relevant club development plans to support club development and sustainability. So again, that's something we can support with if you don't have one in place already. Confirm that club meetings do take place and that they're recorded. Copies of minutes are available on request, so there are templates for minutes if need be. But again, it's just raising standards within the clubs, recording conversations that I had. I spoke to many clubs that just pop down the pub and have a pint and don't really make any records and can't remember what they referred to the season before. So again, it's just kind of raising standards and just trying to keep some minutes and conversations are recorded really. And then demonstrate that decisions are made by the club are informed by and communicated to its members. So it's not just a club committee sat there making sort of decisions on behalf of the players and, for example, assuming what they might want. So yeah, I don't know, Rob, I don't know if you want to elaborate on the new coaching courses as they are.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of you probably already know this, but just to sort of bring you up to speed with where we are in terms of coach education and courses, what used to be the old level 1 and level 2 no longer exist in that format. So there is now something called the Introduction to Coaching Football, which has replaced the level 1. That is an online course that includes first aid and safeguarding. So other parts that you need when you're into coaching. The prerequisite to the intro course is the Playmaker course. That's a free online module that you can do. So in order to be able to do the intro course, you have to have done the Playmaker first of all. The Playmaker can also act as somebody who's looking to just be an assistant coach at a team, so just helping out with a team, but not for a lead coach. Where there used to be the level 2, that will be replaced by a UEFA C badge. That isn't coming out until spring next year. So at the moment there isn't anything in UEFA in level 2's place, but there will be the UEFA C license that will be live by sort of springtime next year. So that's where we are in terms of courses at this stage. But again, any questions anyone's got about coaching courses, how to access them, anything like that, please feel free to contact me or just look on our website where we've got all of the information on there.
There's just a quick question from Vicky. Like I say, we won't go into too much on that one, but I think in answer to your question in terms of that, I think linking in with a club. So this is a good example, actually, I might use it. So Western Mendip Girls, their USP as a club is obviously offering women and girls football, but looking to start disability. But it's unlikely you'll sort of have the male side of it. Does that mean we can only ever achieve a 2-star rating? As I said, we wouldn't touch too much on the specifics, but it's quite a good example. So that could be an example where you could link in with a neighbouring male team, for example, to create that. If they have a pathway for boys, there's no reason, from my understanding, that you couldn't link in and become a 3-star club collectively. So yeah, thanks for that, Vicky. It's actually put a very good example. So hopefully that helps. But as I say, without going into too many details, club specifics, give us a shout afterwards if you've got any specific questions like that. But hopefully that helps.
Yeah, so just we're coming towards the end now. So just in terms of our support here at Somerset FA, we're obviously available to all clubs and leagues. We've got a football development team and a football services team who are available and on hand to offer their support. We can offer advice on all kinds of areas. You know, Aaron's already touched on doing development plans. We've got a coach education program. So we can basically offer support to any club on any issue. So please feel free to contact us, and we'll obviously do our best to support you where we can and help your club develop. So in terms of the processes, going to skip on to the next slide. So something that most clubs are probably quite interested in is there is no more annual health checks. So whereas you used to submit the annual health checks to us in around about this time of year, September, October, that is no longer required. So what you'll now have is a portal that will be live 365 days a year, where you can update that and put in all of your information on your club on there. Within that portal, you will get notifications when qualifications are expiring and coaches need to redo things like first aid and stuff like that. That went live, we think, from today. We haven't seen a version of that yet, but we believe that has gone live today. So hopefully all of you can see your portal and what accreditation level you are. But again, any problems, please feel free to contact us and we will help you as best we can. Any club that isn't accredited can apply from today. So if there's any clubs on the call that are interested in becoming an accredited club, you can actually do that as of today. So again, if you're not sure how to do it, please contact us and we'll try and sort you through it. We are actually going to be sitting down with a couple of clubs in the next few days to go through the process, so we can get an actual look at it our end as well, so we can get some hands-on experience of how it all looks for clubs. So that'll be useful, hopefully, for them and us. Okay, so this is just a screenshot. It's not the best quality. We got of the portal a few weeks ago when we were in the call with the FA. So this is what it will look like. You can see your tabs there. So you've got club tab, officials tab, documents tab, and player pathways. So within there is the information you need. Now, the club here, Flinton Flyers, they're a non-accredited club, which is why they've not got a star rating. But if you were an accredited club, it should say around that area what star rating you are. So hopefully you can all start to access that and see that at your end. Okay, that pretty much does bring us to the end now, but we've just had one more question pop in. Aaron, do you want to pick that one up?
Yeah, so Richard's written, when you say link with another team, what does that actually mean in practice? Is this a verbal or written contract, I'm assuming that. Yeah, the partnership, as I probably said before, with the old charter standard as it was, that kind of partnership can be kind of as big as small, personal, impersonal as you want, really. I mean, if you want to put any written sort of contractual agreement, so for example, it might be, I don't know, that you're a youth section, it might be you link in with a local adult league or adult club, for example. It might be that contractors actually will make sure that those under 16 players are offered the opportunity to come and play for your adult team, for example. So they're not dropping off, they're not dropping out the game, they don't know where to go, they don't know who they want to play for. Actually, they've got an outlet in terms of transition to adult football. How you want to do that is up to you. I mean, we're more than happy to help facilitate conversations. We certainly can't dictate how you want that to look. Each club or league might have a different reason why they want to link in, but we can help either A, sort of start those conversations, or B, help facilitate the meeting. So that, again, that might be something we can touch on further down the line, but hopefully that helps a little bit, really.
I think within the portal, the two clubs will link, won't they? Because they'll both have to agree at their end. So in the portal, it says who the linked clubs are,
which is no different than what was a charter standard. You could have linked clubs with that. So.
Yeah. Okay, so that has pretty much brought us to the end of the presentation this evening. Hopefully we've cleared a few things up for you. We haven't got all of the answers, we know, but if you have still got any questions, contact us and we will definitely find the answers for you. We can give it another minute just to see if any more questions come in. So there'll probably be a minute of uncomfortable silence just while we wait to see if any questions come in. So if anybody's got anything they want to ask or add, please feel free to just pop it into the chat now, and we can try and pick that up before we end the call. Otherwise, obviously, you've got my email address there, so feel free to drop us an email and we can pick anything up. We think we've covered most of the things in there so far this evening. Doesn't look like there's anything coming in at the moment.
Mark has got his hand up. Can we allow a mic? Are we allowed to do this? Does it
think so? Yeah.
Yeah, let's try that then. Yeah, let's see. We weren't sure. We thought the system was set up so we couldn't allow people to speak. Not that we didn't want you to. Let me just try that. Oh, Mark, you put your hand down now. I think you have by the looks of it. Unless I've lost you. Let me just see. Yeah, I can't seem to see. Okay. Yeah, maybe it was by accident. So no problem. Again, if you've got any questions after, then feel free to drop us a line anyway. I'll press the wrong button. Thanks anyway. It's okay. So Simon said, where is the accreditation tab on the portal? So if you log into it, log into your club portal, you'll see something on the left. I think it might be labelled accreditation. As I say, we haven't, because this is the first day of it going live, myself and Rob haven't seen what it looks like from your end directly. We've only seen the briefing that we've been given when we were told sort of how clubs apply. So hopefully it should be self-explanatory. I would imagine it will be on the options on the left when you log in. If it's not, then again we can. Somebody else in his club might have access to it if he hasn't. So it might be worth just asking a couple of your committee members if they can see it. Otherwise, we'll look into that for you. So I think he's just replied and said it might be because we're already accredited. Yes, you probably might not need that yet. Again, keep an eye on that. Give us a shout afterwards. If not, without seeing your portal, it's hard to. It's hard to answer. Yes,
very.
Oh, someone sent us. Yeah, somebody sent us a screenshot. That's very good. Whoever that was, Dennis. Thank you very much. Yeah, so it's under club profile. So there's a new tab which has got a label banding orange, yellow saying new under club profile. So thank you very much for that, Dennis. Very bottom of the list on the left, it says new. Yeah, Terry's confirmed that as well. I'm just going back through. There's quite a few questions just come through. Also, we have level 1 coach heading each team and 3 helpers, all DBS. Do the helpers count as coaches? Let's pick that up after, Terry, if you don't mind, if that's okay. Just because it's probably one we can go through afterwards.
Gary's just confirming where the accreditation tab is as well.
Yeah, good. Can you confirm that the new FA system is updated by clubs through the portal and the year? Yes. So yeah, Portland ladies, we've covered that one. Rob covered that one just now.
Yes, there's no more annual health check. It's all on the portal, a 365 validation.
Yeah, a few more. So when linking with other clubs, do they have to be in the same FA area, i.e. Somerset? In all honesty, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, we'll ask the question on that, because I'm not sure that's a good question, because I guess there will be a few that are on the border, won't there, that will link with clubs outside their county FA. So we'll ask the question and get back to you on that one, Richard.
Yeah. It's fine. Thanks, Richard. Simon, yes, I've clicked it. Takes me to the player registration portal. There's nothing there, but that's okay. Simon, let's pick that up. So drop Rob a line. Like I say, we haven't got all the answers in terms of what it looks like your end, but there seems to be quite a few clubs that are seeing it. So by the looks of it, Dennis's picture, there's a tab on the left that's got club profile. That's what he's seeing. If you can't see that, drop us a line. I think we might even be able to log in as you possibly going forward. So yeah, drop us a line afterwards if that's okay. And that doesn't answer your question straight away, but hopefully that helps.
A little flurry of questions there, but I think that might be
feels like Watchdog.
Might be everything on there. Yeah. Okay, so if there's nothing else, then obviously please feel free to leave the conversation. We'll do the same in another minute or two. We'll just monitor, see if anything else comes in the last minute. But other than that, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll speak to a few of you clubs and leagues very soon. Thank you.